right, so I'm going to call this meeting to order. Pursuant to Governor Baker's COVID-related orders, we're meeting tonight via remote participation. A copy of the Grafton Public Meeting Remote Participation Guidelines is now available on the town website for reference. And we'll do a roll call. Greg,
Here.
Amy,
Here.
Sue,
Here.
Jeremy,
Here.
and Colleen is here. Okay, so the first thing on the agenda tonight is to vote to approve the FY22 capital budget recommendations that we sent to the town administrator. So I'll take a motion, or do you guys want to look at those again first real quick? Greg, if you wanted to pull those up, I don't know. How do you guys want to do this? You guys feel confident?
We already sent them, so I think.
We did.
Oh, so moved.
Okay.
Well, Kyle,
Second.
let's see, they'll pass it.
Well,
They're not online. So Kyle, I can send you all this stuff too. I know you were asking for more information. I just didn't want to either overwhelm you or scare you away. So I kind of didn't send you anything.
All good. I'd love to see it when you get a chance to send.
Okay, so I'll send you some stuff. So I have a motion and a second, and is there any discussion on the motion? Okay, so I'll start with, Greg, here we go. So this was the narrative that we sent with our FY22 recommendations, heavily edited by Amy. Thank you very much.
I didn't think you'd gotten it in time.
Oh no, I sent it heavily edited.
Awesome. Looks good.
And then
All right, I got to stop trying to read that. It's too small.
Yeah, it is.
yeah. So Greg, do you want to just flash up the Excel sheet real quick?
Sure.
So this was our recommendations that we sent. And we know we're going to be getting more requests in for the 5-year plan, but we have not received those yet. And so we're voting on the narrative we just saw on this and just the full packet of requests and everything, like the capital package we received, which we're not going to show. Okay, so I have a motion and a second. No discussion. We'll go by roll call. Greg?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Jeremy? I think you said aye.
You're on mute.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
Aye.
Colleen is aye as well. Okay, so motion passes. So the next on the agenda is to discuss the 5-year plan. Last week we got a message from Mr. McGoldrick saying he had received more requests, but I have not heard back from him since. I sent him an email on Thursday. I sent him another follow-up email, and I just don't know. There's a lot going on at the municipal center right now, so I don't know if
He has COVID.
well, I didn't want to say that, but there we go. So
He announced it at the town, at their meeting Monday night at the planning board.
oh, okay. All right. So it is out there. So yeah, so I don't know if that's holding him up from getting us information or what's going on there. So I don't have any further requests. I don't know how to, I mean, I guess we just have to proceed with what we have. Same thing with Mr. Terenzini. I know there was a lot of documentation we wanted to get from him, like the files for how to plug into the budget. I know he's not feeling well either, so he's playing catch up right now, and he's going to try to get me some information as soon as he can. So for tonight, what we can really talk about are just some of the other things that we said we would do last week, which it looks like Greg, amazing, got it all done on his to-do list.
Yes.
So we've included the existing leases from the current one, showing when they're expiring, and put in everything that was in our packet. There is one thing, the HVAC for the middle school was not included in the packet. It was expected to be under the train plan, which has since been modified. So the question is, do we include it at the original 1.2 from the previous year's budget? Do we include it at the estimated 2 million as discussed at school committee on Tuesday, or do we leave it out?
So one of the things that Greg and I realized right before the meeting was that the list had all of the stuff that was put into the original train proposal removed.
Right.
So that all's got to go back in, because we're not going to do a $9 million project with train. That's not going to happen. Because this project, which would be the 2 million for just the middle school, I don't know that it's officially proposed yet. Jay indicated last night or Tuesday night, that his next step is he's going to come back to us and talk to us about it, and see how we want to proceed, but that he intends to fund it with the school's capital allocation, which I think was like 125,000 for the first year, if I remember right.
At 127, but
Okay, thanks, Sue. You're
Um,
good. You're much better at remembering the numbers than I am.
I think that's what it was.
So I don't know if that's premature, if we should just have it in as 1.2 and put all the other stuff from the train project back in. I don't know what the committee's pleasure is, but I would like to point out that Greg did it because I've had a migraine for 2 days and I can't stare at a screen long enough to do it. So
I'm
thank
sorry
you,
to hear
Greg.
that, and thank you, Greg, for doing that. Well, I definitely don't think we should leave it out at all. It definitely needs to
Right.
go in some way because it was requested. And I know if Dr. Cummings did send me an email right before this meeting with some information. I'm going to forward it to you guys. I haven't had a chance to go through it, but he did send us some information to go through to try to figure out all those questions. So we can have him come in and talk further about it. It's just a difficult position to be in to know if train is happening, if it's not happening, and how to account for it. So I think I would just go forward like train hasn't happened yet, because it hasn't happened yet. And that's all we can really act on. But knowing that it's being possible, like next year included, if it happens, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the other wrinkle is that we figured out that the GMS HVAC somehow did not make it into last year's town budget book at all. It's not on the capital list. But it was in the school's budget. So it was there, it just didn't get copied into the budget from last year. So we have people saying, well, how come this wasn't on the list? Well, it was on the list.
You
It
just
was
need to
on the
know
school's
where.
list,
What list? Yeah.
but it wasn't in the final, or whatever was posted online as the final budget book, which still isn't the one that was approved. We discussed that last week. So maybe it is in the final. Maybe that error was pointed out at some point and it just didn't get posted online. I don't know. But yeah, the GMS HVAC definitely has to be added in. And I think for now, it should go in at 1.2 because that's the estimate we have. If we move forward with train, it's a different project.
We'll probably know more about what Jay wants to do when we have the tri-committee meeting, don't you think?
I'm not sure
Is he
that's,
gonna-
I'm not sure that's going to be part of the agenda. I think that they want to
What
focus.
There, I would think there would be a discussion about the HVAC though at one point too, since it's concerning the operating budget.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
my understanding of
I
what
would-
that agenda will be does not include that at this time, but it's worth asking. But I think that they're trying to make it about the operating only. I don't know. We'll see. I can ask.
I think it's worth an ask because we'll all be in the room together. And I know the operating budget can take a while to discuss too, but we'll be all in the room together. So it's a good opportunity to at least let everyone know what's happening, right? Has finance committee had the train proposal sent? Yeah, so I think it would be good. I think but who knows? I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'll shoot an email over to Jay and Laura tonight. Greg, don't let me forget. And I'll ask.
The other thing to remember is we have 18 days until Carter's capital package is supposed to be submitted. And we need to get this to him before that. So the sooner we can get this resolved, the better.
Greg, I'm wondering if that's not going to happen on schedule since he's not feeling well. It may be delayed till maybe to the end of February.
Maybe, but I don't want to be the one holding him up.
The charter police has spoken.
I agree with Greg. I mean, we should get as much work as we possibly can done. But just like we know we have other requests coming in the pipeline that we don't even know which departments or what they're requesting, and that's magically coming too, and we have to include that somehow. So, I think everybody's going to be a little gracious this year about some stuff because we're in a transition period, unfortunately.
Not to mention the pandemic.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Well, this looks lovely. Is this so? If you scroll down further, Greg, is the narrative down here too?
Yep.
Oh, well, look at you. You're amazing. I started doing this on a different one and I didn't get nearly as far.
Greg, did you send this out?
I sent out an email probably an hour ago saying they were in the folder.
This was in the folder.
Yes.
Then I missed it. I'll go back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I uploaded one that looks similar to this that I want to remove now because I clearly did not see this one. So don't look at the one I put up there. I love Google Drive. It's my favorite.
You're doing so well, Colleen. You really are.
I thought I was so good by uploading. Like, look at me upload.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. I'll give you my Nancy Pelosi clap.
So I will warn you that there may be typos in here. The school department ones are copied from their request, but everything else, the pages were scanned. So I had to type in everything.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
I fixed a couple typos that I noticed as we were going. Some of them were on the original and some were my own. But
So that CPA $500, I was informed that's for the paperwork for that barn that conservation wants to pull down, right?
Yep.
I was informed they do not have that. That hasn't been awarded to them yet.
Yeah, it was just an estimate.
Okay.
So we really didn't put anything into these different funding summaries. So we may just want to leave this one out for this year. But
Okay.
I left it in because it was there. And the reason it was all messed up when you tried to is because it had manually entered links to various cells in various places. It wasn't automated or anything. That's why when you deleted rows, things went away. Funky. So.
Well, thank you for fixing that. Yeah, I think this is a really helpful part of the chart, but it's difficult because we don't have a lot of the information, unfortunately, to fill that in.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is something that if we do switch over to this format where the TA gets it this far and they fill in those blanks, and this is what people start to get used to seeing, because I think that is helpful to see if it was filled in. I don't know how everybody else feels though.
I think
Yeah,
it's great
so-
for now. I think the new TA may have a different method. You might like our method. So this is a weird year. It's a transition year, like you said, and I think we do what we would like to do for now, and then maybe next year it looks a little different. I mean, it's all the same information. It's just how is it presented? How do people want to see it?
Yeah.
This makes sense to me. The school stuff probably needs to be broken out by year, but that's really tough to do. Because I think it's all lumped into 2 years, right, Greg?
Yeah, so just while here, there is a funding source column that is not filled in. And I know how to make the things down below, add them up based on that, because I've had to do that for other things. So if we decide we do want to try to guess at some funding sources, but I don't think we have that information for this year. So we could do it in a future year to populate that.
Can you lock that header row, Greg?
Sure.
So that when you scroll, we can see. That way I don't have to count to see which fiscal year it is. What are you doing?
I'm trying to lock it.
I
long
didn't
as you
even
let me
know
do
you
2
could lock it.
rows.
That's a.
Oh, you're gonna show Colleen how to do it. Look at
Yeah,
this.
never even knew that was a thing.
Learn, Joshua. Learn.
There we go.
Now when you scroll, isn't that the best thing ever?
That's fantastic.
You can do a column too. You can lock a column.
I cannot
you
wait
scroll
until the pandemic's over so I can go to the Mars household and learn so much.
We should all go and take a lesson from Greg and Amy. I think the TA, I like this format,
I do
actually.
too.
It's easy to read. I can't help but think the new TA coming in will be impressed, quite frankly.
And it's right from the DLS. They give it to us. So
And he may be using this already. So
maybe that's right. Okay, so I feel good that we at least have something. So if
Yep.
something horrible happens and nothing else accomplishes in 18 days, it's not like we won't have nothing to hand over. We're going to have something to hand over. It's not where we want it to be. We want to definitely get more in it, but it's not nothing either. So that's good.
Well, it's never going to be complete, right? It's a living document. And I think that, version tracking is going to become pretty important. So we remember which version we sent in, but we're always going to have a working copy that we're adding to, and I think that's what it should be.
So I did mark the other worksheets on here as samples so people didn't think they were our data. So this form is pretty close to what we're using. I did split up the legally required versus urgent that we wanted to do. But it has stuff filled in, so it's still a sample. And then these are all somebody else's data.
Perfect. All right.
great.
So let's see. What else, given the fact we don't really have any other information, what else would anybody like to discuss or talk about doing at this point?
Yeah, so I did put in a memo that after FY22 is just everything else. So that's something that would have to come from the school department if they wanted to give a more accurate over time estimation.
Carter did not get back to you, Colleen, as to what he's looked at our capital for FY22. Has he decided what he's going to do? No.
Nope.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to. It's difficult now knowing that he's under the weather to.
It is.
I don't want to push anybody when they're trying to recover, but I will do my best to try to push him when I think it's okay to push him, to see what I can get for more information. Next week, seeing how we met last week and we met again this week and the information didn't come in as quickly as I had hoped. When do you want to meet again? That's the other thing. I know Greg just mentioned we have 18 days, but I don't want to meet again and not have the information. So what's everybody thinking about for our next meeting?
Well, I would say we need to wait 2 weeks because I had the next Thursday marked off for CIPC, but that's going to be TRICOM now.
Yep.
So I would say maybe shoot for 2 weeks, and whatever we have, as we get it, we put it in, and where we're at on the last day is what we submit.
Okay.
How other people feel about that, but
So maybe the Monday of that week so that we can submit it to Carter on Tuesday and he has presumably 4 working days to finish up his presentation if he needs it.
Monday,
The 25th.
yeah.
Does that work for everybody else?
It works for me.
Yep, good for me.
Okay, so I'll schedule the 25th, 7 o'clock.
That's
Who knows? Kyle might be on the committee by then, so we'll just have him do everything else. It'll be great.
so Monday, the 25th at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
I have a question. After Carter makes his decision, what he wants for the capital budget for FY 22, after he's made that decision, and I mean, what we submit will stay as it is, but then I would think after town meeting, we'd have to come back and adjust the 5-year plan for what he didn't include or did include. We
Yeah,
would make those adjustments, correct?
I imagine that is exactly what would happen. So like Amy just said, it's gonna constantly be evolving throughout the year, whether it's we funded it or we didn't fund it, we found out a new project, we didn't find out a new project. It's just gonna be, we do train, we don't do train. Which is why that calendar was really helpful of what we should be doing during each month. It might not fully align with our new bylaw that we hopefully get, but it keeps us on track in August or July. Should we be doing anything? Usually we hadn't been, but now we might be updating what happened at town meeting, great example.
Well, the way things going, we may be having another town meeting in June.
I love me an outdoor town meeting, so I would welcome it.
Especially on a Saturday.
Yes.
Especially on a Saturday.
Why would we need a town meeting in June? Or is that something to discuss later?
I'm just.
In case it has
The numbers won't be low enough.
I'm just spreading a rumor. I'm just,
Oh, I see.
because I don't know what the pandemic's gonna look like
Gotcha.
by May. So,
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
All right.
I didn't know if there was some kind of like special election we needed to have, or like some kind of special vote.
no,
Okay.
Sue's crystal ball.
Okay, so we've taken our vote, we discussed our 5-year plan, we scheduled our next meeting. Does anybody want to discuss anything else before we vote on meeting minutes? Great. Okay, so we have meeting minutes to approve from last week, if anyone would like to make a motion. It was the 7th.
I move to approve the meetings from our meeting on the 7th. Sorry, approve the minutes from the meeting on the 7th.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Greg,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
Sue,
I,
Jeremy,
Aye.
Colleen is aye. Okay, so that's great too. This was a very quick meeting, but if nobody has anything else to discuss, we can make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Turn.
second,
Okay, so motion and a second, and we'll do a roll call. Greg,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
Sue,
I.
Jeremy,
Aye.
and Colleen is aye. All right, well, that was fun, you guys. I'll see you in 2 weeks.